watching Bill Maher last night, and I started watching him for a long time because I feel like he confuses me with his belief system politically.
He goes back and forth a lot.
He goes back and forth, but I understand why, because he's an older Jewish white man that smokes weed and fucks black bitches. So his mind is confused. He ain't like, he's not like, just straight of the road. He has a lot of shit going on.
Yeah,
and,
which is good.
Atheist,
I think that makes him a better person.
Yeah, he's a human. He's a human. But when I listened to him, he said that there is a cold civil war going on.
Oh yeah, it's been going on since I'd say since 2015 at least. Since 2015, the United States. He
explains the cold civil war was like not like the last civil war where it's going to be like, okay, we have a clear reason why we're doing this. The South believes that people are property and we don't want you to take our property from us. So we believe this is more of a property rights issue. And of course, it was slavery and racism. But, that was what the fuck they were saying politically. And then you had the North that was like, no, human rights should be for all. Doesn't matter. And they had that was the first Civil War. Real basic, high level shit.
And
right?
It was on geographical. I mean, there was a hard, that Mason-Dixon line. That was a hard line to cross, right? Yep. So that's, but I think I know I've done a lot of research on this about the Second Civil War. And it's not going to be that hard geographical line or that hard. I mean, it could be like abortion could be like one of the main factors, I feel.
Right.
And that's been theorized for many years, but it's going to be like neighborhoods and city blocks and things like that are going to be going to war with each other. It's going to be like the suburbs versus like the inner cities, and then like the rural people all fending for themselves. Like it's going to be more decentralized as far as as the fighting goes. And that's why I tell people, get out of cities, man. Get out of big cities. Like it's just not good, because no matter what side you're on, it's not going to be good for you in the big cities.
That's kind of what he was saying. And he was like, you'll see micro events, and it's been happening. It's been happening since probably, like you said, 2015. I think it's been like since 2010. I would say once Obama got in office, that's when like you saw the internet start to spread, and it being like, okay, we hate black folks, or we hate Jews, or Jews are trying to kill us, or white people will be like, yo, the minorities are trying to take us out the country, decrease our numbers, like that, white pride type of thing. And it's like old neo-Nazi, like liberalism fighting each other. That shit started around like when Obama got elected, in my opinion. And
it's when Twitter started.
Yeah, you see these little wars, like, or not wars, but like little terroristic events popping off. And I ain't saying little, but I mean like it's not like mass explosions and shit. It's just like
it's little events, like we saw in Portland. Like we saw in Portland when those two guys hunted down that Trump supporter and just oh, we got one, and shot him right there, right? And then we saw it again just a couple weeks ago in South Dakota. A guy ran over but he thought was a MAGA Republican with his truck and killed him. And he was a kid. It was like a teenager. And then we see it with a grown man ran over a teenager because he thought he was a white supremacist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it was bad. And he admitted it too. He was like, I thought he was like a MAGA Republican, so I killed him. I was like, okay. But there's other instances too. Like with school shootings, like with there was, and it's not just it's all over the world, but the whole what was that one where that guy killed all those Asian people at the massage parlor? That was one.
That was here.
That was his manifesto said that he loved Trump and hated Trump, or he loved Republicans and wanted to kill him too. He was like, look,
Bill Maher.
It's both sides. I mean,
MC Hammer, you know what I'm saying? He fucked up, Pelosi's husband. With the cops there, Nancy, though, like
that's the thing. I think it was Nancy herself, though. I think I have two theories on this. I think Nancy
it was
sent
Nancy
someone
who hit her husband with the hammer.
I don't think she was the one who was physically. I think she sent somebody because he might have been screwing around, right? with some 20-year-olds, you know, or
Get outta here.
or we both know that they're both in a lot of money. They're in a lot of inside trading deals, right? They both are very good at the stock market, better than Warren Buffett. And I think maybe he owed somebody some fucking money. It's a classic
think it
mob.
was a
Nah,
hit?
nah.
You think
It
it's
wasn't a
mob
hit. No, not a hit. Just like he
A
made a
shakedown.
bad bet. He made
Okay.
it was a shakedown because it's a classic move to use a hammer in the mob, right? And all these political people are all mob members, whether they know it or not. It's a mob mentality, right? It's like that's how JFK got in office. That's how all these people get elected. They're crime families, right? Nancy Pelosi breaks the law every day. Donald Trump breaks the law every day. Joe Biden breaks the law every day. They're crime families. And so they get involved in illegal activities like gambling or prostitution or whatever. And I have a feeling that this guy, because he said they were friends, right? I just listened to a little bit more about it today because it's very new stuff, new information coming out. They were friends, apparently, this guy who beat him, right? So imagine it was like somebody that he does business with, maybe prostitution or gambling or something like that. And it was like, hey, man, you owe the boss some money. You better pay up. And Pelosi was like, no. But my other thing is, one, they live in a fortress, right? So how did he get in? Someone probably let him in and said, hey, they've probably seen the security's probably seen this guy before. Oh, he's Paul's buddy. They play poker together. They drink. They hang out. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. You're going to meet Paul. And then he was like, hey, Paul, you owe me some fucking money. I'm going to hit you in the fucking kneecaps with the hammer. And we're going to move on from there. That's just my assumption is that this was some sort of shakedown for some
I don't
money.
think that's
Now,
what happened.
Give me 1 second. Give me 1 second, okay? Give me 1 second.
Go ahead. I
This
love your
shit
example,
happened
though.
yesterday, bro.
I know, right?
This shit happened like yesterday morning. How did you get to that big of a conclusion, bro, so quickly?
Because I don't know. Here's the thing. I know Nancy Pelosi lives in a fortress, right? She's got a
This San
walled house
Francisco. This
in
was a San Francisco house.
and she's got private security detail. How did this guy get in? They say he broke in.
Actually, so look, this is what I heard. I'm not saying I know shit, but this is what I heard. For some particular reason, these motherfucking politicians, right? They don't live the way that you and me would perceive them living. Because I know, like, if you try to, like, go to, like, I don't know, name somebody that's famous and rich as a motherfucker. Jeff
Elon
Bezos'
Musk.
house. Elon Musk. Let's say you try to go to Elon Musk's house. Problem is, that motherfucker don't got no house. He's nomadic. So he live in them little small-ass houses on the Tesla base, right? You can't walk up in there. You know, it's going to be a problem. But
Right.
when they
Jeff
show
Bezos
pictures,
is probably a better example. He's got a lot of houses.
yeah, he got a lot of houses and, you know, boats and all type of shit. He got something in space, whatever. So Nancy Pelosi's house in San Francisco didn't have no security, and it was just like a regular old crib.
Right.
For the
That's
pictures
what I was
I
thinking
saw.
too.
It was
That's
just a
what I was
regular
thinking, too.
house, and it was like, from what I understood from the reports I read this morning, was that the dude knocked on the door and was screaming where Nancy at. They had a little argument. I think he was talking to the dude. The cop showed up like, yo, what the fuck is going on? Then he grabbed a hammer and just started busting him in the head. And the cops was there though, but how did he have brain damage? Like her, her husband ain't
the
normal,
cops
like no more.
The cops said they were fighting over the hammer. Like they
How
were
did
both
he get the hammer and hit him?
Yeah.
It's two cops.
Well, no,
that's what I'm saying. Somebody had to let something happen. And I'm looking up Nancy Pelosi's house now on images, and it's not. I mean, it is like you could say a regular house, but it is stacked
Nice
up,
shit.
bro. Yeah, it's.
I mean, you know, I mean, nice. Like I'm thinking, like
Stacked
you know,
up like
armed guards.
nobody's getting through here, right?
Like so, it's like stacked up. Like
It's got
nobody's
a
getting
big
through there.
wall. I mean, you could climb this wall. I'm looking at pictures. You could climb the wall if you really wanted to.
Let me ask you this: if somebody hated Nancy Pelosi enough, would they have the energy to climb the wall? Would they?
Yeah, but, I mean, and I think the same time last year, or maybe 2 years ago, someone put like pig's blood on her house, stuff like that. This always happens in October, right before an election, right? That's something you got to think about as well.
So you thinking that it's possible that this could all be a political setup to be like, yo,
I think so. I think so.
The Trump or the Republicans, the GOP motherfuckers, and lost their mind, and here goes another example of them fucking up people.
Yeah,
Maybe.
but I think it was probably set up by the left or by Nancy Pelosi or her allies herself to blame Trump Republicans. That's just what my thought is. But I really think Wayne, to address your question, why I came up with this conclusion, I just know that all these people, Trump, Chuck Schumer, Pelosi, Lindsey Graham, they're all crime family. Like, they are just criminals. And so what do you do with criminals?
Thinking the worst.
You team up with other criminals. Dude, he probably owed somebody some fucking money and he didn't pay up. And he had to go, or they wanted to go get some of that $300 ice cream that she keeps in her giant ass fridge, which is bigger than my fucking bedroom, right?
What type of ice cream is that? It's made with baby.
Oh, dude, she's got like she's got a whole fridge that's giant, just dedicated to ice cream. You didn't see that video during 2020 when she was like, "And this is my ice cream jar where I keep the."
To me, that lady is already dead. In my personal opinion,
she's like Skeletor, man.
She kept alive by like some fucking the same.
She's
shit
kept
that was
alive
keeping
by the ice cream.
England
That's why she
alive.
got so much damn ice cream.
It got that baby blood in it. What's that shit called? Kyle?
Adrenochrome, baby.
Thank you. That's what it's called. Adrenochrome.
I got you. I don't know. Like Wayne said, this is fresh. This is new information. They just this morning released the guy's name. It's like Danny.
Oh God,
Pepadilly or something. He's got a weird name. But yeah, I wouldn't, guys. It's October. We have midterms coming up. I wouldn't believe anything you hear or see in the news the next 2 weeks. I just would not. I would not even go along with it, just because things get ramped up this time of year, leading up to elections. It's just going to get even crazy. You thought that was crazy? Wait till Monday when other shit pops off. I mean, I'm just saying it's going to happen.
Wayne, if you don't mind, can I ask Kyle another question?
Of course.
I want to talk about the election a little bit coming up. This is my personal opinion, and Wayne, you can jump in and let me know what you think. I feel like the upcoming elections, they always say this about every election. It's the biggest election.
The most important.
It's most important.
Most important of our life.
Definitely, please go vote. If you vote, it's your choice. I definitely would suggest you go vote. You know, here, I don't think there's no point because ain't no way better going to win a motherfucking thing. Certainly living here. But,
you mean Robert Francis? Robert Francis?
This motherfucker, 1 minute he Puerto Rican, next minute he Mexican, next minute he white. I don't know what this dude is, but he ain't winning.
Yeah.
But his commercials are awesome. His commercials is like, they let the grid fail. Yeah, I give him that. Like, you know.
That was, but the grid thing was, how our energy system is set up. It's run like a corporation.
It's not federal.
It's not even operated at the state level though. It's like a private company and they're board members. And that's what happened. I mean, Abbott and the like mayors and stuff and in Texas, they were like, hey, turn on the coal plants, guys. We're freezing our asses off here. And they're like, nah, sorry. And then people got like $10,000 bills a year later for that shit. It was a big mess.
That shit is terrible. The same thing.
But it is easy to
blame.
Yeah, it's easy to blame the head of it. Obviously, it's Abbott's responsibility. I give him that. Like, you're the head of you're the governor of the state. If the grid fails, you should have done something about it, right? Yeah, it's on you.
It's on you. And the other senator that went to Cancun.
Oh, Ted Cruz.
Ted Cruz.
And Cruz.
Wayne, I don't know if you knew that. Cruz,
dude,
I
don't like Ted Cruz. Cruz he's freaking Canadian, dude. He's not even American. He was born in Canada, and I don't think he can. I don't think he accurately represents Texans.
Fuck no.
But what was your question about the elections? Anyway, I didn't mean to derail.
No, it's okay. I feel like if this election goes to the right and the Republicans win overwhelmingly, which Wayne said that I'll be manifesting stuff, so I'm gonna say it's possible because everyone gets mad at me because they say I'll be guessing a whole bunch of shit. Well, whatever. Like I'm the king of the world. I'm not God in this motherfucker.
No, you don't have to be. You can just be a little clairvoyant, man.
Stuff. Even though I'm just saying, look at the news. Look at it looks like what's going to happen.
You can see it. You got a sense of what's going on. I got you.
So possibly, if the Republicans win in a clear sweep, which I think is going to happen. I know Herschel Walker. It seems like he can't win. This motherfucker was a running back. How he going to win? He's popular. That's all you need to be is popular in this world. Now.
So is Dr. Oz. I mean,
straight up,
a bunch of old ladies love Dr. Oz.
Yeah, and the guy he's running against, he was real stroked out during the debate.
Dude, he was
I watched
stroked out.
I'm so sad.
Hello,
I'm so
good night.
Up. Yeah, like Wayne, he was saying shit like that.
I
Like,
gotta
hello,
find
good
that. I
night.
gotta
Like,
find it now.
it's so sad. It's just like, you don't want to watch that shit.
It is
makes you
sad. It
cry.
is really sad, dude.
Like,
it is really sad.
That's
Like,
fucked up. Y'all should have put him up here.
For that guy, I'm like, does this guy not have anybody in his life who loves him?
Like, yo, don't do this.
Yeah, who would be like, hey, stop, like go rest, recover, try again next time. Like,
yeah. Because he will win because he looks like he's from Pennsylvania. Dr. Oz is on fucking
that
TV.
motherfucker's a giant, dude. He looks like he's from Transylvania, dude. He looks like fucking Igor, like came right out of Dr. Frankenstein's fucking laboratory. He looks like 10 other people mixed together. That's what that guy looks like. And he's like 6'8" and like 340 pounds, dude.
Wait,
he's a big boy.
He's a big
No, I see
boy.
him. I see him.
Fuck Dr. Oz up.
He could eat Dr. Oz for breakfast, dude.
He would fuck Dr. Oz up real nice. So if it was like a boxing match and who wins, like the Oz would have to know some karate or some shit.
I think we should go back to that, dude. I think we should settle all wars and all disputes at the Olympics, right? Whoever wins the Olympics controls the world for 4 years, and then we just do it again. You know,
Africa will be like controlling.
Yeah, man. Do you really want that, man?
Eliminate basketball, soccer, like everything.
So you got, like Nigeria or something, whoever, they're just like, all right, we run shit now. Yeah.
Like, don't do that, y'all. All right, look, this is my question.
Yeah, sorry.
Ask it. Derailed. These elections, if the Republicans win, I feel like there's a possibility that the United States, as we currently see it, is going to change drastically when it comes to like abortion and voting rights and shit of that nature, because a lot of cats that's on the ballot are voter deniers. They think Trump won and it was stolen. If that happens, I believe that Donald Trump will be our next president. Me saying that, and I'm not saying it to say oh, this is going to be the end of the world. I just feel like the world will change and we will see people really start to divide. What do you think? Do you think that's like being hyperbolic, or do you think that's some shit that could possibly happen soon?
No, I can see where you're coming from, man. I really do. And it's just a midterm. Historically, all midterms swing back the other way, right? So when Obama was president, that he took the House and the Senate the first time around, and then during the midterms, it went back to the Republicans. Same thing when Trump was president. 2 years in, it went back to the Democrat-controlled House and Senate. Like, it's just historically what happens, right? I think there's a lot of like these last few years, man, have just been crazy, right? On all fronts, on freedoms, on everything, right? But here's how I look at it. You have these, and I'm assuming you guys aren't like true leftists. You guys seem pretty libertarian, pretty down the middle about things, right? But
I'm libertarian. Wayne is, I don't know what I am. Left. I would say Wayne is just like, don't fuck with me. Don't fucking tread on me.
He's an anarchist, right?
Yeah.
No, damn, this is worse.
We need schools. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I get it. So so you're a centrist then, and that's okay. I think most people are. But here's how I.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you know what? That's a good word for it, because I always say that I'm always a good word about anything. Yeah, about everything. So I'm on the fence.
Here's how I see
it from both sides.
We have this really loud minority of what I call the leftists, right? That's your AOCs, that's your trans folks, like the people, and it's mostly white women. I'm gonna be honest, it's mostly white women who are really loud and who use minorities and small groups to parrot their ideas, right, and to use them. And what's happening is these leftists are pulling the pendulum so far to the left, so far one way, that did we lose him? Did you lose Jimmy?
I don't know.
Uh-oh. Okay. Well, should I keep going, or should I wait for him?
Good Lord. What
okay. So
yeah, you keep going.
So I see it as the pendulum is being pulled so far to the left that as soon as it snaps, it's going to swing so far the other way that most of those people who are today considered right-wing or centrist or whatever are going to not like it either, right? We're not going to like how far right it goes. People talk about like, oh, Donald Trump's going to make it the Handmaid's Tale or whatever. Well, it's like, well, when you pull something so far one way, it's gonna snap. That rubber band's gonna snap back the other way. It's equal opposite reaction, right? It's gonna happen. I don't want, and that's why I keep saying in 20 years, America will be a far right Christian theocracy, right? It will be that in 20 years if the path we're on keeps going, because you're going to push people. These political ideologues are going to push regular people so far that the only answer is to snap back just as far the other way, right? That pendulum, the political pendulum, always swings back and forth. It always swings back and forth, right? And so right now it's just being pulled. Yeah, go ahead.
I got you. Let me jump in real quick, Kyle, because you said that, and of course it makes sense, but it's going to take time for it to swing back. So while that pendulum is being pulled all the way to the left, it can be a handmaid's tale. It can be what I personally believe. If I can, add on to what James was saying, like Trump could win again. I think they can find a way to make Trump like, just run America for the rest of, for the rest of 20,
like make him
whatever.
a dictator.
You know what I mean? Like, I honestly believe that they will try to find a way. Yeah. I think they will try to find a way to be like, fuck it, this is it. And, because they're already doing that, which is like they're inching their way, and I understand that the pendulum can go all the way to the right because we have no rights. I'm just going to say the same things over, being gay is wrong. Can't be transgender. They're taking away abortion. Like that's a woman's, right. A woman's body. I forget his name. What's his face? I think it was, Pence, who just came out and said, Americans have no freedom from religion. It says nothing in the Bible or in the Constitution where it says you can say no to religion. Like if it stays here, then this is how you have to be, and that's what we're like having no choice anymore. You know what I mean? And the more you pull it, it's like the more choice that's being taken from the American people who we thought America was so free, but now we can't do this and we can't do that. And it's because everybody on the left side says, well, this is good for us. This is how we believe. And now everybody needs to be that way, and that's not fair. I think the right side is more like, and this is what I'm on the fence about. This is what I always believe is people need help. I don't care how rich I'll get, but I'm always going to help people because I know that there are some people out there that need help. You just, said that story about your mother, and how tough it was back in 2008 and you were feeling that crutch too. You know what I mean? It's like that. People are going to always need help. I understand that some people are self-made. I understand that some people, get themselves out of the hole. You know what I mean? But I feel like there's nothing wrong with helping people to help them get back on their feet. And I feel like the left is like, yo, we're on our feet. Screw the rest of y'all. So how much time and what's going to happen when that pendulum is constantly being pulled left and when it swings back to the right, how long is it going to get back to James, normalcy? You see what I mean?
We as a country at this particular point in time going through what we've been through throughout the history of this country. Certainly since I would say since JFK, he was like a major figure. We had like a lot of assassinations of like leaders and shit.
Oh yeah, CIA don't give a fuck. They kill anybody.
Like international, CIA. There's a book on Amazon that I'm about to buy and read. It's about all the CIA secret operations that they did during like 1950s to like the 1970s.
Nicaragua, Ecuador, Iran, shit. Iraq, Saudi Arabia.
All of this Day of Pigs type of crazy shit running in. Even talking about the stuff that they did here in terms of
Rick
the black
Ross,
community in Compton. You know what I mean? Like bringing in drugs. It talks about all of that shit. Yeah, all of that. So
we
ain't talking about the rapper. We talking about the actual.
No, exactly.
Where the fat guy stole the name from the small skinny guy. That's what happened. So, okay. What I feel like is that the right is for some reason insanely addicted to religion. And they're trying to shape the country as being a Christian country again. So, abortion, limits on that, right? Women's rights, limits on that. Gay pride and all that shit, all the progress we've made, limited that. And I feel like the right feels like we haven't been making progress. We've been giving people liberties when they shouldn't have that much liberty because it might destroy the fabric of America. And the left feels like we need to keep pushing forward so everyone can be free and equal. Truly, 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 it's the religious motherfuckers versus the nerds. And this was pissing me off because if you're too testosterone driven, you are a cancer to society. You are too masculine. But if you're too gay and
you're saying from the right and the left, that's what you're being told, devil. Right?
We do.
Oh, so you're saying
from the right.
So you're saying the left is saying
that's
if
what
you're
I'm being
too
told.
Testosterone, it's toxic masculinity, but the right's saying if you're too gay, you're a soy boy and you don't contribute to society, things like that. So it's from both sides, right? And who's caught in the middle? All of us.
It's from both sides. Us, because we don't have the money to buy Twitter. We don't have the money to do a million political ads for the motherfucker that we really want to support. And if we did, we're not even taught at an early age from our education because it's so piss poor about what government is. Example, for some reason, Joe Biden invited 8 TikTokers to the White House this week. They had a combined following.
Well, in TikTok numbers, that's like maybe like 1 million people total because TikTok followers.
People.
Well, and TikTok, like 1 million views on TikTok is like 100 likes on Instagram. It's different.
It's really like that. Like it's like 2 views on YouTube. Yeah. It's that fucked up because it's a scroll. It's a scroll time. So they invited them in, and this one chick said, I thought the midterms was like when y'all talking about midterms, I thought y'all was talking about like my college midterms.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what an actual human being said, y'all. Like you don't know what government is. You don't understand the history of our country because that's not important anymore. So my whole point is this: I'm afraid of this election, even though I know we always have them every 2 years, because I feel like we are leading ourselves down to one extreme or the other.
Booted out or you disconnected. That's what I was telling Wayne is that. The pendulum's going so far one way, right? It's being pulled so far to the left that it's going to snap back the other way. And we might end up in 10 or 20 years in that, what is it? Handmaid's Tale, right? Authoritarian Christian nation, right? But right now we're going towards an authoritarianism and on the left, like a communism type world. When the left says they want everybody to be equal, they want everybody to be equally poor.
Socialism.
Right? Then that's equal. Who wins in a communist society?
I don't believe that. Who wins in that, man?
Why don't you think about that? Why don't you think, Wayne? Why don't you think that? Because I don't think it's communism. I think it's socialism. And socialism is kind of like, so you know how it's in Germany, right? It's kind of like in Germany where I just watched this movie called
All Quiet on the Western Front.
Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah.
Yeah. I watched the old version back.
There's a new one.
That's the good one. The new one that just came out on Netflix is all right, but there's a new. They remade it. You got to stop letting.
Hey,
the
honestly,
Germans get power.
Fuck Germany, man. I say let them. Let them freeze, man.
Okay.
Let them freeze. Hey, Wayne, I don't mean it in a bad way, but I'm saying they got themselves. They got themselves into this position, bro. That's all I'm saying.
No, I know.
And let me just say though,
Wayne, they do a lot. They be doing it.
I try to take a step back from like just the midterm election, just the presidential elections. Like we are being, and this is happening all over the world, except for Africa. For some reason, no one's paying attention to Africa. I don't know. No one gives a fuck. Unfortunately, because it's a really great place as far as like, the land and the people. But right now we're being controlled, and this is when I say we, I mean all countries, all states, all politicians. There's a globalist movement right now to control the world. They call it, the conspiracy theorists call it the New World Order. Joe Biden calls it the liberal world order, the international order, all these things. And they want all of us to be dumbed down through the food and the education and the poisons in the water and everything like that. And the drugs, the antidepressants, the heroin, the fentanyl, the weed, even alcohol, all that stuff. They want us dumb, quiet, docile, and willing to just work or die and, you know, eat the bugs, live in a pod. Like that's what is happening, right? And I think just in America, we have a unique situation where we are an extremely armed population. We're kind of the last frontier. We do still have our Constitution, which I think at its core is really good. And we're the young, you know, one of the youngest countries and certainly the youngest superpower. And we're kind of going through like a teenage angst period, you know. Britain's been around for almost 2,000 years. At least their history goes back that far. But as a country, they've been around for quite a long time. And so we're going through the shit, but we're on a world stage now. And I think these globalists, that's the real issue here. They want us to fight. They want us to feel like our rights are being taken away. But once these globalists take over, you're not going to have any rights at all. You're going to be equally, it'll be equitable and inclusive. Everybody of all races, genders, and sexualities will be poor and broken and dumb and defeated. And at least, and I'm sure people on the right want that too. Like the right-wing politicians, they want you to be dumb and, you know, drink your beer and drive your pickup truck and listen to stupid country music. And same in the inner cities, they want you to listen, you know, be drunk and, you know, listen to your rap music and shoot each other up or whatever it may be. It's the same thing, but just a different flavor for each group. And they all want to, that's the big enemy, right? Is not having is letting these people tell us as individuals, as people, sovereign people, that someone else, your neighbor, is the problem, right? Yeah.
I got a question for Wayne. Wayne, from what Kyle just said, don't you think it's already like that, Wayne?
No. I mean, I absolutely agree that they're trying to make us dumb and, you know, stupid and just docile. And, you know, I do believe that they just want us to shut up and work. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But
shut up and dribble.
I think, yeah, shut up and dribble. There you go. But I kind of view it in a different way. You know, I kind of view it as until things change in this world, like the only thing that's going to make us successful is, you know, working hard and, you know, doing something with your life or being productive in the world. And that's success. You know what I mean? And I feel like everybody is entitled to that success. That's all. I don't feel like you say socialism. I don't think it's like everybody needs to make the same amount but it's almost like a neighborly thing. Like you're helping out the other person. Like I don't see what's wrong with the government helping out people who may need it. Cause I mean, think about it. We already help people on drugs. We know they're not going to get better. We all know somebody who's on drugs and stays in rehab and they're not, but we still spend that money to help them. But when it comes to like the poor and the homeless and everything like that, it's just like, well, hey, shit, I'm sorry. They had their chance and they blew it. You know what I mean? So it's, I don't know. I agree with you. I just view it in a different way where, you know, people just need a little help.
Historically,
you know,
it's been the church that has been that, at least, you know, decades ago, the church was the place where the community went to get help, right? You had a neighbor who was an alcoholic or maybe on drugs or suicidal or downtrodden, needs some help. They would go to the church, even if they weren't necessarily religious. Their neighbors would direct them to the church to help them out, right? That's what the church was in a localized community, right? It was that place to get that help and to get that extra push, right? And a lot of churches nowadays still have great programs, right, to help people get back into work, find a job, find a place to live, things like that. But it's falling off because of these mega churches and all this division amongst the churches, right? That's a happening thing. And I don't fucking go to church, dude. I hate the church, right? Me and Jesus are tight, and that's about it, right? Fuck the church. But but I'm saying that's what it was in the community, right? But here's I'll use homelessness as an example, right? Homelessness for example, California, LA, is a multi-billion-dollar a year industry with all these programs going on to help the homeless, right? There are thousands of people working for these nonprofits and these organizations to quote unquote help the homeless, right? But they never actually solve the problem, because if they actually solve the problem, then they're out of jobs. Right. They're not making any money. They're not getting donations anymore if they actually solve the problem. And the government's the same way, right? Why do you think as soon as we got out of Afghanistan, a 20-year war, we immediately started funneling money into another war in Ukraine? Because the military-industrial complex needs a place to launder their money and sell their products. Otherwise, they are out of business, right? And these businesses, these industries are so are so powerful that they never actually solve the problem. They want people to be homeless because then they have okay, I'll give another example. The FBI does this too. Intelligence communities. They will find a guy who maybe is a little isolated, right? Maybe of Muslim descent, right? A little isolated, a little, kind of just out there, right? And they'll get him like, hey man, come to this group. We just want to pray to Allah, right? And then he gets to the group and they're like, hey man, take this gun or take this cell phone that's armed to a bomb and go kill those infidels, right? The FBI will set these people up to commit these acts of terror or attempted terror acts just so that they can go to the Department of Justice and say, hey, we stopped X amount of terrorists this year. We need more money in our budget for next year to keep doing it. And so they have to keep doing it. It's all of these industries. It's the same thing. And it's not sustainable, dude. And it all goes back to the central banks and how our money system is set up. The Fed just types in zeros on a computer. They're not even printing money. They're not even printing it. They're just entering it into the books and it's there. And and it just circulates. If this wheel of money stops turning, a lot of people are going to die and a lot of people are going to lose their jobs. And it's going to be terrible. I'm ranting. Please respond.
Kyle.
You see,
no, you good.
No, you're not ranting.
No,
that makes absolute sense. That makes absolute sense, Kyle. And that's why I hate talking to you, man. I really hate talking to Kyle.
He's right though, Wayne, because everything he's saying is right.
Wayne, you're coming from a place.
He's right.
Wayne, you are coming from a place of empathy and
follow the money.
You are an amazing human being, and I bet everybody in your life, I've tried to live by this tenet, love thy neighbor. Even if I don't know them, I try to help them out, man, because I might not be in the best position, but you know what? The world is like, I have abundance, right? Even though I don't make, but $30,000 a year and I'm living in an apartment or whatever, I have abundance, man. If you have that mindset in your life, you're going to be successful and you're going to be able to help out other people. So I commend you for your thought. And that's how most people feel who are maybe on the left or whatever. They come from a place of compassion. They're like, man, the gay population or these trans people, they're really struggling. We have to help them. Right. But if everybody just left everybody alone and, let friends and neighbors help each other instead of relying on daddy government to step in, things will be a lot better. Because I know, for example, the trans people in my life that I know, they're really trans. I mean, they put the time and the money in. Like, I don't even have to get confused about their pronouns because I look at them, I'm like, oh, that's a dude. What's up, bro? How's it going? And we're good friends. But then there are these other people who are just maybe don't know who they are. And they're like, they, them one day or he, her the next day. And it's like, okay, you actually maybe need to spend some time figuring out who you are before you start doing all this stuff. Right. And that goes for any community, right? You as an individual have to work on you. And here's the thing. These people are relying on somebody else, another institution, whether it's TikTok or Instagram or the government or the universities telling them how to be acceptable when, I always say when someone tells me, their pronouns or whatever, or how gay they are or whatever, it's like, well, dude, I don't want to meet somebody and Wayne, if I came up to you and was like, hey bro, my name's Kyle, I take it up the ass every Thursday, and that's me. It's like it's like, well, that's what happens though.
Whoa,
I'm saying that's how it is though. That's what the equivalent is. It's like, I don't care what you do behind closed doors with other consenting adults. I want to know if that's your identity, then you really don't have a personality or anything interesting about you. If the only thing interesting about you that you feel the need to tell everyone is what you do in private with other consenting adults, then you're not interesting to me, right? But if I came up to you and I was like, hey Wayne, I'm Kyle, man. I'm a carpenter. I like to go hunting. I like to cook. I like to barbecue. Maybe you should come over sometime. I'll show you how I make my ribs and you can tell me what your tips are. Like, that's more interesting to me as an individual, and to you as meeting me, right? Like, you'll be like, oh, this guy, maybe we have something in common, right? Instead of just being like, hey man, I like to suck dick. What about you? It's like, whoa, that's a big jump. But No,
I'm gonna clip that right there. Like Kyle came out
but
on
you
the
get what I'm
podcast,
saying?
everybody
Like
watched.
that's really what it is. Like it's like people are so concerned about how they
man.
identify that they really don't have an identity, right? They really don't know who they are as a person.
Mm-hmm.
That really, to me, comes along with. I do agree with that. I feel like,
Yeah,
and
let's
this
bring
is
it back
to the election again, and back to all of this shit, just our government in general. We feel like you have to.
Mm-hmm.
So certain people have been downtrodden for so
Yeah.
long that they're overcorrecting out this motherfucker. Like it's to the point where like gay people were bullied in school. Like I don't know. I mean, we're all young, so we all remember. I don't know if y'all ever saw a gay bashing before. But where I'm from, they did that shit. Like the guy that was gay in our school, they chased him around, they beat his fucking ass, being like, "Oh, you like?"
Meanwhile,
to suck dick,"
probably
and beat him the
3 of
fuck
those
up,
dudes who beat him
left
up
in
also
his
like to
pool of
suck
blood,
dick.
throw him in the trash can.
Yeah.
Yeah. They asked for his number later. You know what I mean? So all that type of shit, right? And that's real because then Facebook 5 years, 10 years later, they doing splits in the middle of the street.
Mm-hmm.
So my point is that people have felt so marginalized in our society that now, since it's cool to be who you are and to be transparent,
Yes, I can see that.
it's an overcorrection of everything. So it's like when we make Ghostbusters, we taking out all the dudes and any dude,
and it's a shitty movie, and then it's a shitty movie, right? And then they get
Ghostbusters, yeah.
And then they get mad when no one wants to watch it, right? It's like that new movie that just came out, Bros, that was just about dudes banging.
Exactly.
And they thought it was like a rom-com.
Bros,
and it wasn't, no one wanted to watch it.
That comedian,
I'm sure they're funny guys.
That comedian is hilarious though. But that comedian is funny. How are you going to market a movie to people that are straight when it's about gay people?
It's
you
funny.
Would say,
you make
well,
it a good movie.
What our sexuality is, right? That's what they try to. It's funny. It's going to be fucking.
Look at
funny.
Birdcage.
So
look at Birdcage. That movie with Robin Williams
and
what's his name? Can't remember his name. But that was about two gay men. Nathan Lane. Yes, two gay men trying to act straight for vice. Like that was in the 90s, dude. That was a funny fucking movie.
It was about.
I mean, Mrs. Doubtfire was literally about this man dressing up as a woman so he could watch his fucking kids. Yeah. Speaking of which, what the fuck did he do to his wife to make him not be able to watch the kids? What did he do to the kids? Yes, I remember Mrs. Doubtfire.
Okay.
Yeah. I know, but I'm just saying, if you look at it from that point, I mean.
That came out a couple years ago, right?
Moonlight. I don't know if y'all ever saw Moonlight.
I've never seen that.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
Yeah, it won. I think it won Best Picture that year. Moonlight is about a young black child that struggles with his sexuality, and he grows up to be like a gangster, like a real he was in Atlanta, like a real Atlanta drug dealing rapper, big chains, big ass Cadillac, like a prototypical black man that sell drugs, but he was gay. And it shows how like his dad like would be like, don't be a faggot and all that stuff. And then when he got into high school, the boy he first had his first sexual relation with, he ended up getting into a fight because somebody was like, oh, you a faggot and stuff like that. And then when he became an adult, how all of that stuff and all that hurt and pain and him being repressed to who he was destroyed his life. But he ended up reconnecting with that dude originally when his like mom had died or whatever. That whole story is like, this is what gay people dealt with for years. Brokeback Mountain.
It's like
this is what gay people dealt with.
It's like Oscar from The Wire, right?
It's beautiful that we have those stories. Right, exactly.
Right.
But you don't have to get mad at straight people because we didn't want to consume your fucking movie. It's not about that.
Okay,
bro.
so is that the situation with the movie Bros?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Because I thought Bros was
said that. What?
I thought it was directed straight towards the LGBT community. Like it was a gay movie.
But he said he said it bombed because
that's the thing. He's getting mad at straight people for not watching it. I mean, that like there's another show, Schitt's Creek. I don't know if you ever watched Schitt's Creek. Right. Right, but
come on,
there's never have.
One
I
of
hear
the
great
main
things
characters
about
is
it.
a super gay guy. He gets married and has a boyfriend and stuff, and it was a great show because it wasn't just about that. It was about this family and their situation, what was going on. And he just, the character, like, it's like if you do it for the sake of doing it, it's not going to be good. But if you make it part of the story, right? Or, you know, just, then it makes sense.
It's a, right.
And this is it was like a gay love story about, you know, a gay friend group, which is fine. Like nobody, if you do a wide release, you promote the movie, that's fine. You promote it literally as the first gay major rom-com. Like, come on, man. Like, I ain't trying to be rude, but like that doesn't get me in the theaters because I can't truly connect with being a gay man.
And if it was funny,
that's all. That's all.
Yeah, and if they made it
put some funny clips on
so
YouTube,
that everybody can laugh at the jokes.
Like, I might have to check this out.
But I'm saying if you go see a movie and you're like,
I'm pretty sure
at like that they do like weird gay shit and it's funny, that like you might feel uncomfortable in the theater, like laughing at something that happened, like because you want to be like, you know, respectful or whatever. But if they approach it like in Birdcage, like it was funny because they were gay, like that's what made it funny. And they were over the top, right? They were caricatures of gay men, and that's what made it funny, right? But they did a good job of like when the show wasn't going on, like the drag shows weren't happening. They were just normal guys, right? Who had a kid, who had a son, you know.
What's that show? What's the movie that came out with the three gay guys? They were not gay. They were three drag performers. It came out in the 90s. Fu Manchu or something?
Oh, Tu Wong Fu.
Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes. Yeah.
Tu Wong Fu. Wesley Snipes was Kurt Russell and who else? The fuck?
I think it was John Leguizamo.
Yes.
I never seen it, but I know
what you're talking about.
Kyle, you ever seen that shit? Yeah, because it was a major movie with three major stars. People went to go see that. Ain't nobody get mad because that movie didn't probably do like 100 million because it had the movie was actually the most empowering movie at that time about gay people.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You got to do it.
I don't understand how you get mad at straight people if they don't want to go watch it. It's their choice.
So let me jump in. Two things I want to say, and I have a question for y'all. One thing about that movie, I know I saw the previews for Bros, and one of the lines that I saw was a group of people in a room, and one of the people had said, "Hey, do you remember straight people?" And somebody else was like, "Yeah, they had a good run." And I'm like, when you see that, like, what, like, you'd be like, okay, well, this movie ain't for me, man. Like, honestly, you made this for a certain audience. Yeah, you made it for a certain audience. So, I mean, that certain audience is going to see it, you know? And I don't know. I guess they just support you like we supported Black Panther. I don't get it. I mean, I do get it, but I mean, because
understand why you get so upset. Kids want to, it don't matter what the color, white, it could be a white kid, Puerto Rican kid, Mexican kid.
I was more so saying it because of representation, you know?
Right. Representation matters. But
you also have to consider representation, like what percent of the population is gay? I think it's less than 5%, maybe a little higher, but it's not. No, I don't think so, man. I really don't. I don't think it's that high. It has to
be 15, right?
That's a lot. So if they want to represent,
that is a lot, right? 15
accurately,
is a lot.
put 15, 5 or 15, whatever the number is, of the movies or the characters or whatever as that. But what we're seeing, like you mentioned, James, is an overcorrection, right? Where now everybody's gay and everybody's black and everybody's biracial marriages, right? Like every commercial, black ladies just as much as the next guy. Actually, like I kind of always wanted one, but they never really liked me that much. But that's okay. Right. I got the next best thing. I got a ginger with black girl hair. Okay, I did pretty good.
I get you one. I get you one for Christmas. Don't worry.
Yeah, actually, I got married since the last time we talked, guys. Yeah, I got married. Yeah, thanks.
That'll do it.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
That'll do it.
You got use that. I'm sorry about that. Hey,
congratulations, man.
We're going off the rails here. I'm sorry, guys. Y'all were talking about election. Now we're talking about gay movies.
I know, right? That's okay.
Oh, no, it's okay.
I know, Wayne, you had a question. Wayne, I'm sorry. What was your question?
I did. Yeah. I just wanted to ask both of y'all, going back to the topic. When do you feel like the whole gay thing is being shoved down your throat?
I'll say this.
And when do you feel it's just like it's just a part of?
No, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Finish what you're
just
saying.
Whatever. Yeah. Yeah. Right. No. Yeah, that was good. That was good.
Okay. Well, I'll just say.
but
I grew up in a very diverse family. I had gay.
No, that was it. That
I
was
guess
it.
lesbian aunts. Like my mom has 5 sisters, right? No uncles. So and half of them are or at one point were gay, and so as a kid, you don't think about it. You know, my favorite cousin growing up was black, and I have like Persian cousins. I've got Hispanic cousins. Like I have a very diverse family, like all blood too. That's the thing, all blood, right? It's not like second cousin removed or whatever by marriage. Like all these people share my blood, right? And growing up, I didn't like it. It never affected me. My aunts, a couple of my aunts got married at one point, and I was just like, oh, cool, I got an extra aunt now. That's awesome. Like it never. Even though like it wasn't ever being shoved down my throats, but to me, it's always been like just a whatever kind of thing, right? Same with like the race thing,
thinking about it,
all that stuff. It's never been an issue for me until it became a more in the mainstream, right? Because I think like I went to a liberal arts school in for theater, right? I was one of like 3 straight dudes there. All my professors, yeah, I was an actor, yeah. Yeah, I was a musical theater, baby.
Oh, you're a theater kid?
But like my
You're
professors, most of them
For
were
real?
older gay men.
I might have to get you in.
And like
I
they
remember
were
saying that last
old
time.
school gay, dude. I mean,
That's
like
right,
they got weird, they got wild, but they didn't like. They still like put the hammer down.
Yeah.
No pun intended. Like when it came to like they were like no nonsense,
Yeah, they fuck you up. Yeah.
Oh, dude.
They had to fight. They had to fight in the streets to be gay. That's the real.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. Like,
gays.
I think
they
it's
used
just
to- when
like
they
I
had
think
a
it goes back,
parade,
Wayne, to answer your question.
motherfuckers
I
would
think
come and
there's
fuck
just
they
been
parade
an
up straight people.
overcorrection,
They had to fist
and
fight.
it's
You know?
because I think honestly most people
Respect
don't
them
care
gays.
as long as you leave them out of it, right? Like I'm not gay. I have a lot of gay friends. I don't know. I don't care. Like when I was in school, a lot of gay dudes did try to like convert me. Like they tried to get me drunk and roofie me and shit like that. Like, and I think that's just a dude thing. I think it's just a dude thing. Like, I think it just, I felt, I really understood how women felt after that because I was
serious,
like, oh,
man?
It's not just a gay, it's
That
like
does
men are
happen,
just
Wayne.
aggressive,
That
right?
happens.
Against, especially to other, if like you're gay, you're going to be just as aggressive as you would to a female, if not more to a man, right? So I get that. But
Yeah. Okay.
my point being like, it's just been this overcorrection. And I think most people like, if as long as you're not going after their kids, or trying to, sexualize children. I think that's a big thing, right? Like maybe I think that's why this election might go to the Republicans is just because most people don't have a problem with gay or trans or whatever. But once it starts getting into the classroom in elementary school, I think that's when it becomes a problem for a lot of people. I know it is. I know it's a thing. I've seen it. Yeah,
Do
go
you
ahead.
think that's the thing?
Yeah, Wayne. I actually I have an example of that, Kyle, if you don't mind me jumping in real quick. So a company that me and you, Wayne, are very familiar with, they supported
like a
a
nonprofit,
company that was for gender equality. I think it's called Gender All. It's like a company, like a nonprofit. Yeah, yep. And they told the company that me and you are familiar with, Wayne, that we're all about gender
being treated equal,
supporting all
at
genders
work.
and making sure
Yeah,
no one is.
that's always been the thing. Yeah,
having problems because of their gender, right? The normal shit. Yeah, treat people equal, simple stuff, right? So this company was like, all right, cool, yeah, we'll love to go. Yeah, you okay? Okay, go ahead, bro. Okay, go ahead. So what basically occurred was that this company gave the nonprofit money, and what the nonprofit did was that they released a book in Florida talking about,
it was a kid's book. Yeah,
being transgender, and it's okay to be transgender as a child, like a 5-year-old and shit. It's a kid's book, and it's a kid's book about. It's supposed to be about acceptance
or trans or whatever.
Yeah, to people that are not in that world. Well, they're going to see it as you trying to convert my kid to be gay, and a parent or trans or whatever. So let me go ahead and tell that part again. Let me put a marker here so I know where to fix. Wayne, you back, homie? Yeah. So, Wayne, let me go ahead and finish my story. So basically, what this company did was that they gave money to the nonprofit, right? And the nonprofit was like, okay, cool. They supported giving a like a book that was about being trans and being gay at a very young age to kindergartners and 1-year-olds and 2-year-olds. And the book was talking about you don't have to have a gender. You can be gay at this age and know that you're gay at this age. And the problem was that the kids, the parents didn't know about them. The kids have access to this book. And the parents were like, yo, what the fuck are y'all doing? Y'all telling our kids to be transgender. Y'all telling our kids to be gay. Now, it's just a book, right? But at the same time, you probably want to let parents know, like, hey, we introducing this instead of it being like Dr. fucking Seuss.
And that's the thing, like
Robin,
gay,
that's actually
sexuality,
Rob,
and it's like gay is a sexuality,
like a woman,
and
but really it's a transgender lady.
it's a sexual, how I say it? It's a sexuality, right? So just by introducing that stuff to kids is sexualizing them, right? It's teaching them about sex and sexual acts at a young age and at a very influential age. When, I mean, what, you didn't get your first boner till you were what, 9 or 10 years old, right? Like,
but
that's what I'm saying. Like that, but I'm just saying like that you. Like you don't even start thinking as a kid. You're not even thinking about that shit until you're. I mean, yeah.
I know
You want fucking
like,
chicken nuggets. You want Power Rangers.
You ain't
and you want to
play,
play fucking
you're thinking
Nintendo,
about,
right? Like that's what you want to do as a kid, right? That's all you should be doing as a kid, right? You should be playing sports and having fun with your friends and lighting shit on fire, and not worrying about all that other stuff.
But that's some children experience. But I would say that when I was young, I had my first sexual experience at 6 because a girl in recess basically pulled out my penis and started touching it and telling me about what she be doing.
You would consider that girl to have been abused. Like that's abuse, right? That's child abuse.
So everyone's experience is different. I experienced
that's what I'm saying, right?
At a young age.
So just that's how it can be. It can be considered, but this sexualization of children can be considered child abuse in some form, or at least pushing towards that because
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And I understand how people will feel that way. So Wayne, that's the reason why. That's an example, Wayne, of it just being like, yeah, people are pushing this shit mad early on kids. And there is no longer, I don't think, regular traditional sex education like all three of us went through. I guess we all had sex ed, right? And, sex ed, they taught you about everything. And all of us was in there giggling, laughing and shit, and all of that, making jokes. But you got the information. They don't have sex ed anymore, traditionally. And I saw also that they had a I don't know where this was. I think it was in Portland or some shit.
At a bar.
But they had like a transgender lady reading books. You saw that, Wayne? At a bar. And you could bring your kids.
A kid is not allowed at a bar.
And they will get
that happened in Dallas
to them.
Hey, this happened in Dallas too. There was a drag queen, a drag show for kids at a bar.
Yeah, I don't know how to get that
downtown Dallas. My buddy Alex Stein. I don't know if I'm sure you've seen Alex Stein, Primetime 99, going around Dallas and all over the country. He's like a mega troll.
Yeah, this really happens.
I'm sure you've seen his videos. You might not know his name. No. He didn't do a movie. No, he's the guy who called AOC a big booty Latina.
Wait, is that the guy that did that movie?
He's just he's like a professional troll, and we used to podcast, like he was in our circle of podcasters. Now he's just massively huge.
No,
but he went to this in downtown Dallas, this drag show that was marketed for kids and families at a gay bar in the gay district of downtown Dallas. Kids are not in the state of Texas are not allowed in bars. Right. So that's strike one, because they were serving alcohol, too. I mean, not to kids, but they were still serving alcohol. And there's like a bunch of kids in there, and they're putting dollars in these dudes' G-strings and then getting the kids to walk down the runway and stuff like that. And it's encouraged. And that's the thing. and the police just stood there like nothing was going on. It's like there's clearly laws being broken here. Not even the moral, like, of course that like it can be seen as a moral issue to a lot of people, but just the fact that there's children in a adult establishment. Like, I love drag shows. Don't get me, I love going to a drag show. It's very fun, but it's an adult activity, right? It is an adult activity. I think always been. It's an adult activity. I don't care if you like to tuck and strut.
It's always
that's fine
been.
with me.
It's
but
always been.
keep it
It's always
to
been.
adults,
It should
and it's fun.
always
I enjoy
be.
it.
It's
I've
for
put
adults.
dollars
it's not for
in,
kids.
I've thrown dollar bills at a drag queen because it's a fun time. You're out with your buddies, your gang. I was in theater school too. Okay, well, I went to theater school, and so actually a few of my really good friends are actually like
I have
very
done this
good
before.
drag queens, and
Okay,
like
right. So
very talented at it, and even like got in to the running for RuPaul and stuff like that. Like really good drag queens. It's a talent. It's a skill, but it's not for kids. It's not for kids. And that, I think that's what it comes down to. No matter what they're trying to push or whatever, it's
it
not
ain't
for
no
kids.
fucking joke. It's not. It's not. No. It's not. And Wayne, do you feel as because Wayne, I think out of us, you have a child, obviously, right? So you have your son. Would you let your son go to that, or would you feel comfortable if your son went to those things?
Of course. I don't like.
Do you think that makes you
it's fun, dude.
transphobic or homophobic?
Oh, it's fun.
No.
No.
Because just like Kyle said, I would go. I've never been before, but I would go.
Yeah, and I think, and that's another thing too. Like,
Yeah.
there's a big split going on in the LGBTQ plus community right now, because of the T's in the community, right? The L's and the G's and the B's are all one. Actually, like, there's a big movement to leave, for the L's and the G's to leave the group, right?
Yeah.
Because they're like, y'all aren't representing what we were about when this all started, right? Like, this isn't what we're about. We just wanted to love who we love and get married, and that was it. But y'all are just pushing it too far, because now the T's are saying, okay, let's say, I'll try to break this down. So, like, if you're a trans woman, so you were a man and now you're a woman, if you go to another a lesbian and say, oh, you won't sleep with me, that's transphobic. And it's the lesbians are like, no, I don't like dick, right? That's why I'm a lesbian. But the trans people will say, well, that's transphobic. And we have to get to the root of these words. Like, phobic means you're afraid of. I'm not afraid of trans people or gay people. Come at me, bro. That's what I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid of you. You don't scare me. I might not agree with your opinions or your lifestyle, but I don't care. At the end of the day, I don't care. Do what you want. You might not agree with mine, but I'm not afraid of you because I don't agree with you. I think we need to start the conversation needs to be switched to set that straight. Like, I'm not phobic of anything, right? Just because I don't agree doesn't make, I'm fuck spiders, dude. I saw one today. I let that motherfucker go. I was like, I'm not touching it. I send my cats. I'm like, cats, go get that motherfucker. Oh, my cats will just rip the legs off one at a time and just like torture it for an hour. And my dog will come up and
they be looking at the spider like,
that's different. But that's the thing. I'm not afraid of, just because I don't agree with you doesn't mean I'm afraid of you, or I don't want you to exist, or I don't like you. It's like, just do your thing. I'm not forcing you to be straight or agree with my sexual preferences. So why are you trying to force that on other people? That's, I think, what it comes down to. That's where the whole libertarian argument comes down. Is like, live and let live, baby. Like, just do your own thing. You know what I'm saying?